here's a question for you. Here's a question, completely different subject here. What are the two dimensions of music? Dimensions of music. Think about dimensions of painting or architecture, perhaps. But what are the two dimensions of music? Ever thought about that? Can anybody give me one? Well, pitch. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, pitch. And what would the other one be? Time. Okay, pitch and time, or pitch and duration. Excellent. So those are the two dimensions of music, and we could even call them the axes of music, because we tend to think of pitch on a vertical axis. We talk in terms of high pitch and low pitch, although we'll fine-tune that next time. And then we have this idea of duration, or time, which we tend to write out in symbols that move from your left to right, left to right. So what I'd like to do now is focus on a piece that emphasizes, foregrounds just the first axis, pitch. And here is a question for you. How many of you have heard Richard Strauss's Also sprach Zarathustra? Okay, how many, be courageous here, how many have not heard Richard Strauss's Also sprach Zarathustra? Raise your hand nice and big. Okay, the overwhelming majority of people. Wrong. You all have heard this many times. It's used continuously as a movie score, television, radio commercials. It's all over the place. And as soon as I start to play it, at least once we get into it, you'll say, oh yeah, I've heard that. So this is a piece by Strauss where he's trying to resurrect the content or mirror the content of a philosophical novel by Friedrich Nietzsche, Thus Spoke Zarathustra. And it's about the unleashing of human capacity as it comes forth from the primordial earth here. And Strauss, in attempting to do this, will use the orchestra to depict here, in this particular case, perhaps the rise of human power, maybe as metaphorically represented by the sun. So here is Strauss depicting the rise of the sun. And the first question I think you have on the quiz here is the following. What keyboard instrument is playing here? It's a keyboard instrument. So let's listen to just a little bit of this, please, Linda. Okay, let's stop there. Because of the condition of the amplifier this morning, you can't really hear what that is. What that is an organ pipe of the type of organ that we have over in Woolsey Hall. 32 feet tall, this gigantic sound, whoa, down there. So that's what he's trying to set up. Okay, then a brass instrument enters. And what is the name of this brass instrument? Yeah, go ahead. Then a percussion instrument. Okay, let's stop it there. Let's stop it there. So the brass instrument is a trumpet. Okay, that's what that is. It's coming up there. Let's talk about what we've got on the board here. We can see we have these low pitches. Whoa, bum, bum. What did I just sing? Bum, bum. Almost the same sounding pitch, right? Well, we'll talk about this. This is called an octave. It has to do with frequency ratios that we'll go into a little bit next time. So he's coming up initially just through octaves. Bum. Then the next pitch on the trumpet, yum, bum, bum. It's actually an interval of a fifth. Yum, bum, that's a fourth, bum, but it happens to produce an octave, bum, bum, against that. Then the first time, bum, ba, deep. So he came up a major third there, and then quickly backed off with just a half step below it, which completely gave it a different feel to it. Bright, shiny major, and then dark minor. Yada. Then a percussion instrument came in. Anybody know what that was? Okay, tell me what it was. Nice and loud, yell it out there. Timpani, or sometimes called a kettle drum. And it was playing two different pitches. Actually, it's sort of playing this pitch and this pitch, the octave and then the fifth. The fifth degree of the scale after the tonic is the next most important. And it's called the dominant note, okay? So that's what that is in that particular question. So the timpani comes in and it goes crazy. Bum, 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 and comes back to the tonic, at which point the trumpet takes over again. So let's listen to just a little bit more, and I think, well, let's listen. I forget where we left off. Okay, let's stop it here. Now at this point, what happens is the trumpet, bum, la, all the way up there. It's going to jump way, way up. So let's listen to that. Okay, let's stop it right here. What's happening, and it interests me acoustically, and again we'll come back to it, is that we're getting up toward here. And notice how these pitches in terms of the ratio frequencies are getting very close together. So we're going to go yum, bum. You sing the next note. Bum, there it is up there. Okay, good, you got it. Come on, louder. Bum, coraggio. Okay, so there we are there. My question on the quiz is, what's this one called? Ya, bum. Okay, so this is a leading tone going into that particular note. So let's listen to here again, just the very end of this with the spectacular sound of the orchestra. And there at the end, you could hear the organ a little bit better. So that's how, using some of these basic ratios, he gives us this primordial type of music. And it's quite spectacular. It's quite spectacular because here in the 1890s, we have the apex of the Western Classical Orchestra, this big, beautiful, powerful instrument. Okay, we've talked a little bit about pitch here. Let's go on to talk about the other axis of music, and that is rhythm or duration. Now, in music, as you probably know, we've already talked a little bit about this, we have the importance of the beat. Beat's very important in music. And generally speaking, in music, we divide the beat, we organize it into groups. Beat's kind of like the heartbeat. It's kind of like the basic pulse of bum, 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 bum. But given our psychological makeup, we tend to divide these up into units of generally 2 and generally 3. And if we have groups of 2, we call that duple meter. Groups of 3, we call that, of course, triple meter. How do we indicate these? Well, by some kind of conducting pattern. We'll come back to this. You'll all be conducting in here. So the duple is just 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, bum, 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 bum. 1 strong beat, 1 weak beat. Strong, weak, in that fashion. And conversely, of course, triple is strong, weak, strong, weak, with 2 weak beats between each strong beat. So here's a question for you. Who wrote the musical? It's on your quiz there. Chicago. Anybody know the answer to that? Okay. How many don't know? A rousing show of hands here. Don't know who wrote Chicago. This is amazing to me. This guy is the stealth bomber of music. How nobody could know the name of this person that has given us so much great music. Cabaret, Chicago, songs that you go around singing, have in your ear all the time. John Kander lives down in New York City. writes a lot of this stuff. So we're going to listen to a track out of John Kander's Chicago here. And the question that's at issue in play at the moment is, what's the meter of this cut from Chicago?
Stay away from jazz and liquor, and the men who play for fun. That's the thought that came upon me.
Okay. Here's something that may interest you. We'll be playing a lot of pop music in here, but they will generally be short clips of pop music. Why is that the case? For copyright reasons, right? Yeah, for copyright reasons. So we've heard a passage here. What was the meter of that section? Gentlemen down here, you seem to be moving with the music, which is very good. What did you think, duple or triple? Okay, duple. Now, that's correct. I would come right back to you with, yeah, you intuited that, but can you explain to me what you were hearing? What did you hear that allowed your brain to instantly go to that decision, make that correct decision? Any ideas? Anybody?
Cut time.
Okay, cut time. What? Accent on one. But what part of the music were you listening to? Yeah, that's it. But somebody's up there going dun, 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 dun. And it's actually the bass. So we'll be wanting to zero in on the bass in a big way in music. Bum, bum, because that's oftentimes giving us much more information than the melody. Bum, bum, bum. So there we had an example of duple. Let's see, we got another excerpt here. Let's listen to a little bit of that.
Understandable, yes, it's perfectly understandable, comprehensible.
So what about that one? Well, you know the setup here. We did duple, then we got to do triple, okay? So that, but you could hear bum, do, the strong, weak, weak, strong, weak, weak, in that fashion, all right? Now let's listen to a little bit more of this, and something interesting happens to the beat. It slows down. What do we call the passage of music in which the beat slows down? What's being applied? What's being affected here? What's being used here?
Reprehensible, it's so defensible.
Okay, very simple word there, retard. Okay, so the music is retarded. We have the pulse being slowed down, and almost like a law of physics, if something slows down, there's opposite and equal reaction. Now John Kander makes the music accelerate. So let's watch a wonderful example of accelerando here.
Let me hear it.
Okay. So at that point, the music begins to speed up with the accelerando. Now, we're getting close, as you might imagine, to the end. Indeed, he wants to drive to the end. You ever notice this in musical compositions? Keep an eye out for this, particularly in pop music. They've got an idea, but they've got to fill up a track. They really need good 3 minutes and 30 seconds here. They'll have something going, and then almost unbeknownst to you, they will take that and lift it up in terms of the pitch content. What is that called when you change the fundamental pitch in a piece, going to a different pitch level? Anybody know about that? Called modulation. And this is sort of where we'll be really 4 months from now. Modulation. It's very subtle, very subtle. A lot of what we were doing today is very straightforward, the idea of duple versus triple meter. But most modulations we don't usually hear. So let's listen to, we got 2 more cuts to do, and then I'll let you go. Let's listen to John Kander sit on one pitch level and then suddenly raise the whole thing up. Raising up music builds excitement.
Yes, oh yes, oh yes, they go. Oh yes, they go. Oh yes, they go. Oh yeah. Oh yes, they go. Now you got it. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, they go. Oh yes, they go. Oh yes, they go. Oh yes, they go.
Okay, let's stop there. Now he builds, I think this is the last question, what do we call this last chord? Well, we've already talked about it. It's not the tonic chord, it's the, anybody remember the second most important pitch? The dominant. So let's watch John Kander sit on a dominant chord now. You sing the tonic. Bum. Okay, hit the tonic.